Ladies and gentlemen, please listen very carefully because what I'm about to share with you is deeply disturbing and absolutely essential for you to understand. There comes a very specific moment in time when a person does not simply act in a harmful or toxic way, they actually turn into destruction itself. When a narcissist completely gives into the darkness, when they throw away any sense of right and wrong, and when they openly welcome cruelty, that is the exact moment they cross a boundary most people cannot even imagine exists. Pay close attention to this. You see, many people think of evil as something abstract, symbolic, or only found in stories, but no, evil is very real. It moves through people, it slowly tempts them, pulls at them, and takes control piece by piece until they stop resisting altogether. Narcissists are the perfect host for this because their entire life is built on deception, manipulation, and an endless hunger for control. Now, here is what you must clearly understand. This is not about being arrogant, self-centered, or selfish. This goes far beyond that. This is something much darker and far more dangerous. When a narcissist reaches the point of no return, when they finally give up whatever humanity they once had, you will begin to see three very clear signs. These are not harmless habits. These are not personality quirks. These are serious warning signals. These are loud alarms that show something truly dark has taken over. If you fail to notice them, or if you choose to ignore them, you are walking straight into the grasp of someone who no longer controls themselves. They are someone who has traded their humanity for something far worse. Think about this carefully. Have you ever met someone who drains the energy from every room they walk into? Have you met someone who seems to grow stronger from the pain of others? Or someone who manipulates people with such cold, precise control that it almost feels mechanical? That is not normal behavior. That is not ordinary dysfunction. That is someone who has moved far beyond the limit, and here is the brutal truth. Once they cross that line, they do not come back. You cannot reason with them. You cannot talk sense into them. You cannot rescue them because they do not want to be rescued. They have chosen lies over truth, destruction over growth, and power over love. If you allow them into your life, if you participate in their games, or if you believe you can outplay them, you are placing yourself in serious danger. So listen closely, because I am going to show you the three unsettling signs that a narcissist has fully handed themselves over to the darker side of themselves. If you recognize even one of these signs in someone close to you, you need to leave, walk away, get out and protect yourself. You are not dealing with a difficult person. You are not dealing with someone who just needs help. You are dealing with something far more dangerous. There was a time when they hid behind a mask and pretended to be good. There was a time when they tried to convince people that they were decent, that they cared, and that they still had some human emotion left inside them. But that time is over. Because when a narcissist fully gives in to the darkness and hands over whatever conscience they had left, they do not just cause pain anymore. They actually enjoy it. And that is where the real nightmare begins. At first, the change is small. You begin to notice a shift in how they behave. They do not just argue with you anymore. They mock you. They do not just deceive you. They take pleasure in the chaos they create. There is an unsettling sense of comfort in their eyes when they watch someone fall apart, a grin when they see sadness, and a spark of excitement when they know they have crushed someone's confidence or made them question their own mind. Most people hurt others because they are angry, afraid, or overwhelmed in a weak moment, but these people hurt others because they choose to. They do it because it feeds them, and because the suffering of others gives them a sense of power that nothing else can provide. That is how you know this is no longer just a personality issue. This is something far darker, actively at work. Watch their expression the next time they shame someone, the next time they lie just to make you doubt yourself, or the next time they deliberately hurt someone's feelings. Do they look sorry? Do they seem conflicted or confused? Or do they look entertained? Do their eyes brighten with a twisted sense of satisfaction? Do they lean forward, waiting to see the emotional damage they have caused? If so, you are no longer dealing with a person who still shows basic empathy. You are dealing with someone who has chosen to shut it off. And here is what makes it even more unsettling. They do not only enjoy hurting people they dislike. No, that would be too simple. They do it to everyone. They do it to friends, family, partners, and even their own children. The closer someone is to them, the more powerful they feel when they break them down. That is why nothing you do is ever enough. You can give them all your loyalty, your love, your effort, and your devotion, and it will still not satisfy them. They still want to see you in pain. They need to see you suffer because in their mind, pain is like currency. Power is measured by how much they can destroy. If they can rattle you, if they can confuse you, and if they can make you doubt what is real, then they feel they have won. And the worst part is this: they will do it again and again. There is no stopping point. There is no moment where they suddenly pause and think they have gone too far. That moment never arrives. It never comes. So pay close attention. Look at their face. Look at the way they smile when someone else is hurting. Look at the dark look that appears in their eyes when they know they have caused damage. That is not normal. That is not typical human behavior. If you believe they will ever change or that one day they will wake up feeling regret or shame for what they have done, you are mistaken. They used to hide their lies. They used to cover their tracks with stories that contain just enough truth to make you doubt yourself. But now they do not even bother hiding anymore. They do not need to. They have reached a point where reality is simply whatever they say it is in that moment. They lie nonstop without fear, without hesitation, and without even a trace of guilt. And the most unsettling part is that they truly believe their own lies. You could place undeniable proof right in front of them. You could show them written evidence, clear facts, and witnesses, and none of it would matter. They will look you straight in the eyes and tell you it never happened. They will tell you that you are wrong. They will tell you that you are the problem. And they will say it with such confidence and certainty that for a brief moment you may actually question your own memory. That is how deep this goes. That is how powerful their manipulation has become. This is not just lying anymore. This is about rewriting reality itself. They reshape the past while it is happening and expect you to accept it without question. If you refuse or try to push back, that is when they turn everything against you. Suddenly, you are the unstable one, you are the liar, you are the person who cannot be trusted. They twist the story so smoothly and so effortlessly that even people who witness the truth begin to doubt what they saw. This is how they control the narrative. This is how they keep their power. They do not just manipulate people, they manipulate reality itself. And the more they get away with it, the bolder they become. They begin testing limits by telling lies that are so extreme and so obviously false that you think there's no way they could believe them. But they do. And if they do not, they force themselves to. Because once a narcissist reaches this level, the truth no longer matters. The only thing that matters is the version of events that benefits them the most. This is where it becomes truly troubling. They do not just lie about what they have done, they lie about who they are. Their entire identity is fake. One day they are the victim, the misunderstood person who has suffered so much and been treated unfairly by everyone. The next day, they are the hero or the savior, the one who has always been right and always tried their best. They switch between these roles flawlessly, changing into whatever version will bring them the most sympathy, praise, or control. If you ever try to expose them or tell people the truth, prepare yourself because they will turn everything they can against you before they ever allow that to happen. They will turn everyone against you. They will construct a narrative where you look like the liar, the manipulator, or the unstable one. The most painful part of this reality is that the majority of people will believe their lies. By the time you find the strength to speak up, they have already planted the seeds of doubt, spread their version of the story, and completely rewritten the past. Once their version of reality takes hold in the minds of others, there's almost nothing you can do to alter it. In the beginning, they pretended to care about you. They copied human emotions and perfectly played the role of someone who felt guilt or regret. They acted as though they were genuinely sorry for their actions. But now all of that performance is gone. There is no hesitation left, no second thoughts, and almost no sense of right and wrong. They hurt, they betray, and they upend lives while feeling almost nothing inside. You need to watch them closely. When most normal people cause harm to someone else, they carry that burden with them. They might deny what they did or try to justify their actions, but deep down there is something inside of them that knows the truth. It keeps them awake at night and makes them wonder if they went too far. But for a narcissist who has fully given in to this pattern, that human feeling is largely gone. They do not lose sleep over the pain they cause. They do not hesitate before striking. They do not question their own motives. They simply take whatever they want, break whoever happens to stand in their way, and move forward with their lives as if nothing ever happened. If you attempt to confront them or try to show them the immense damage they have caused, they will look at you with empty eyes, completely indifferent to your suffering, or even worse, they will smirk at you, highly amused that you still believe they have a heart or that you think they are capable of feeling regret. They will watch you cry. They will watch you suffer. And the only thing they will feel in that moment is a deep sense of satisfaction. In their twisted mind, if you are experiencing pain, it means they have won the battle. What makes this dynamic even more dangerous is that they are no longer held back by the natural limits that stop normal people from doing harm. The fear of consequences has faded. The shame of being exposed barely registers with them. They rarely feel the heavy weight of guilt, and that is precisely why they get worse over time. That is why the damage they cause keeps growing larger. Their betrayals become more serious and damaging because little inside is stopping them. They break your trust without a second thought, manipulate situations without hesitation, and damage reputations without a single shred of regret. They take, they deceive, they lie, and they burn bridges, not because they are forced to, but simply because they want to. They find a sense of power in the chaos and destruction. And every single time they get away with it, they feel more untouchable than before. Here is the unsettling truth about these individuals. They do not care who they hurt along the way. It does not matter to them if you are a loyal friend, a passionate partner, an innocent child, or a protective parent. If standing in their way means you must be sacrificed for their goals, they will do it without a second thought. If harming your life helps them gain an advantage in any way, the decision is already made in their mind. They will look you straight in the eyes and tell you they love you, and in that exact same moment, they will plan your downfall without feeling even a hint of guilt. To them, the world is nothing more than a game or a chaotic battlefield. There are only winners and losers in their eyes, and they will do whatever it takes to make sure they never lose. When someone has little guilt, little regret, and little empathy left, almost nothing is off limits. They no longer just manipulate people on a basic level. They manipulate the shared sense of reality itself. Their control over you is no longer just mental or emotional. It starts to feel unreal, as if they have actually learned how to bend what people see and twist the truth right in front of their eyes. They pull the strings of everyone around them with unsettling accuracy. They do not just lie casually or react on impulse. They plan every single word. They plan every move, every pause, every silence, and every delay because it is all calculated to steer others toward their ultimate will. The most unsettling part of this entire process is that most people never notice it happening until it is too late. It starts out incredibly small, with a slight change in their tone of voice, a quiet look, or a perfectly timed pause in conversation. They know exactly how to make you doubt yourself and question your own thoughts. They plant ideas slowly over time, drop subtle hints, and leave just enough uncertainty to make you wonder if your natural instincts are wrong. Once they get you questioning your own perception, they have achieved a large measure of control because now they largely own the story. It does not stop with words alone. They control the atmosphere and the energy in the room. When you enter a space with them, you can feel it immediately. Their presence takes over the entire environment, even when they are completely silent. They guide conversations with a single look. They can make someone feel completely worthless with a glance, or make someone feel incredibly powerful with the right compliment at the exact right moment. They do not just understand how people think, they turn that knowledge into a weapon. What makes it worse is that they know exactly how to make their targets depend on them for validation. They create chaos in your life, breaking you down piece by piece. Then they step in and act like the only source of safety and comfort you have left. One moment they push someone to their absolute breaking point, and the very next moment they play the hero, acting like they are the only person who can fix the damage they caused. This is not just simple manipulation, it is psychological entrapment. They play people against each other with unsettling ease. They whisper half-truths and plant doubts that spread quietly and grow like poison within relationships. Before you even realize what is happening, they have turned your closest friends into enemies and your partners into rivals, all while sitting back and watching the fallout unfold with ease. When everything finally collapses, they always position themselves as the victim or as the misunderstood one that everyone turns to for answers. If you think you can beat them at their own game, you need to think again. While you are reacting to their last move, they are already several steps ahead of you. While you are trying to explain yourself to others, they are already setting up the next big lie. They do not play fair, and they do not follow the rules of society. They create the rules as they go, and the moment you think you finally understand them, they change the game entirely. They are not just manipulators, they are architects of illusion. They do not simply lie to your face. They reshape reality itself to fit their twisted version of the truth. Once they have pulled you deep into their web, once they have rewritten the story so many times that you can no longer tell what is real and what is fake, they know they have you. That is when their control over your life is nearly complete. There was a time in the past when they pretended to be good. They wore a convincing mask of morality and acted as if they deeply respected honesty, decency, and truth. They spoke all the right words and played the role of someone who cared about doing the right thing. But those days are long gone. Now they do not just reject goodness, they openly mock it. They do not just ignore sincerity, they seem to resent it. If you pay close attention to them, you will see it in the way they talk, in the way they act, and in the way they react to anything pure or meaningful. They do not simply avoid the truth, they actively push back against it. They ridicule people who live their lives with integrity, and they laugh at those who try to do what is right. They tear down anyone who believes in honesty, love, or faith. They do this because deep down inside, the truth exposes who they really are. Sincerity reminds them of what they can never be. And goodness holds up a mirror they cannot stand to look into. So instead of facing that reality, they try to undermine it. Instead of changing themselves, they try to drag down everything around them. Watch them closely. The next time someone speaks about honor, love, responsibility, or truth, they will roll their eyes or sneer in disgust. Genuine goodness irritates them to their core. They cannot stand being near anything pure because it highlights how empty and broken they feel inside. Rather than trying to grow or become better people, they would rather tear everything down. They would rather drag everyone else into the chaos with them than admit that light actually exists. They laugh at the idea of being held accountable for their actions. They mock the thought of facing consequences, and they dismiss the idea of anyone seeing through their lies. They act as if they are completely untouchable, as if they answer to no one on this earth, and as if they are their own final authority. That is when you know they have crossed a dangerous line. When someone truly believes they are above accountability, there is almost nothing they will not do to get their way.